Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. It is the FTW podcast, the wrestling world in all its laughable glory. And I think for the first time in about 40 episodes, we have all the members from the theme song on the show.
Excellent.
Yes, tonight is episode number 149, recorded live on January 29th, 2013 on FTWLive.com. It's the OG show, folks. It is 2011 all over again. We have me, Harrison, and Joe. Say hello, Joe.
Hoi, hoi, hoi.
Rob. Say hello, Rob.
Hey.
Kevin. Say hello, Kevin.
Yeah, gee, I wonder who, doesn't show up for the show and that's in the song. I mean, come on, Joe. What's your problem?
I told you, man. I told you in the pre-show, you are the rock of this podcast. You're in all the promos. You show up once a year, and then we're all like, Kevin's back!
But is he more The Rock or is he more Pork Laser?
Yes, please.
No, I'm the rock, motherfucker.
We gotta get you on a guitar singing a song about cheese sticks. And Garvin is manning the boards. If you're listening through iTunes, YouTube, or through your favorite podcast player, make sure to check out ftwpodcast.com for more about us and how to get involved in upcoming discussions. You can also find out about us on Twitter, Google+, and Facebook. All those links are listed right there on our site, ftwpodcast.com. For those of you guys listening live right here tonight on ftwlive.com, hey! Glad you can make it. Let's jump over into TNA. Rob, so last week when we talked about TNA, we talked about the idea of Taz being a member of Aces and Eights and the implications of what that would be for future impacts and the future. And the answer we got from TNA is not much different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was so excited going into this Impact. I was so excited that there were so many things they could do, and TNA decided that what they were going to do was take a hammer and slowly break apart all of my ideas and all of my hopes. And then Jeff Hardy came and pissed on the pieces.
Oh, that's harsh. You can't just lay that entirely at his feet. The King versus Daniels isn't over.
My hatred for Jeff Hardy being what it is.
Yeah. Let's be clear. We can lay everything at Jeff Hardy's feet.
Oh, Kevin, not you two.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you.
You guys will unify on baseball, but you'll unify on your hatred of hate. I'm sorry,
yeah,
go on, Joe?
Jeff Jarrett too. That's a good one, Joe.
Yeah,
okay.
So we can do that as well. I agree.
I'll give you that one. I like that you guys can't agree on anything regarding hockey or baseball, but you'll hate on Hardy all day.
Damn right we will.
All right, so the big things for me, besides the fact that Zema Ion looking pretty good, Hardy and Daniels, awesome match. Was not expecting that, mostly because Daniels wasn't fighting somebody named AJ, and Hardy, he seemed kind of rickety these past few times he's been on camera, but that was solid. I mean, they missed a few things, and it got kind of weird, and the interference with Kaz I did not like at all. But Rob, I mean, what do you think about that, man? It was honestly a pretty good match, right? I mean, I know you hate Hardy, but
yeah, the match itself was really good. I mean, and I like the fact that, and Tenay did a good job of pointing out Daniels' history. The fact that Daniels has held just about every title in TNA except the world title.
Yeah, I like that build a lot.
And that combined with how the match was going gave you the hope that, hey, maybe he just might come out and win. That we could see the role. I mean, the role continue. I mean, with how Daniels has been going lately, it became very, very feasible that he could walk out of Impact with the world title.
Yes. Yeah, there were a couple points during the match I thought, holy crap, they're going to pull this off. I mean, because
like you, I did not like Taz getting involved at all. That was just...
Yeah, it weakens Daniels to me. It really does. I thought at that moment Daniels really made, I don't know what it is, but it's Daniels has always been suffering from the upper mid-card syndrome. He doesn't have that extra bit that will take him to, oh yeah, this guy is just on the same par as Rude and, well, I guess you could say Aries at this point, Hardy, those guys. For whatever reason, I saw glimpses of it on Thursday. I saw this guy, he's got it. It's there. It's almost there. And then Kaz interferes, and it's like, oh, why would you do that? I mean,
yeah. I mean, I have not seen Christopher Daniels at this level since.
Well, one of the last times he fought AJ. I mean, let's be honest.
Outside of the last time he was with AJ, the last time I could really see AJ, or I can really remember Christopher Daniels elevating his game as much as he did was, like way back in 2005, when he was taking on AJ Styles in an Iron Man match.
Yeah, this was quality work from Daniels. All right, so enough praise that we can leap on this guy. We got to talk about it. So Taz is a member of Aces and Eights. Apparently, there's some kind of higher power, which they allude to that being a person of some kind. Garv, I mean, okay. So the question I want to ask is: now we have Taz as a heel announcer, and we have this angle of the higher power thing. I mean, how do you think about this whole development with Taz on commentary as a heel with Aces and Eights, this higher power, which, just set off weird alarm bells in my head when they said that. Garv, what do you think about it?
Well, first of all, it's Teflon Taz now.
Oh, I'm sorry, Teflon Taz, yes.
God.
It's not the worst
Such
thing
a
in the world.
stupid. Even members of Aces and Eights started shaking their heads when he said that. I mean, even a couple of Aces and Eights were like, Jesus Christ, we don't believe you just said that.
It's like, we're not calling you that.
Second of all, I'm really okay with this. I think this is a good step in the right direction. It's not the shot in the arm, as some would suggest, but it is...
That was me! I suggested that! Me!
But what he does add is...
I'll walk it back!
What Taz does add is a good, solid voice behind the group. He's not that star power at the end. He's not the guy who could actually contend for the world title, which they need, but he is a guy that can be a strong heel voice for Aces and Eights, which they don't have. I mean, let's be honest, Devon is a horrible heel. He's horrible in this role.
He really is.
And, I like Devon as a wrestler. I think he adds a good thing to Aces and Eights as far as, a veteran presence who's a quality wrestler. But overall, you need a guy on the mic, and Taz is great, and he can push it the entire show and throw, he can throw sticks in the wheel of just about every single match to get you thinking that maybe Aces and Eights is a bigger deal than what we're considering it is, previously.
Okay. Rob, I want to go to you for a response, and then I have one thing I want to throw out to you guys and get your response on this, because it's basically exactly in line with this. Rob, what do you think about what Garvin said?
I think Garvin has a lot of points. I mean, Devon as a heel is basically coming out, getting cheap heat. I don't like you. You're idiots. I'm a dick. That's pretty much Devon as a heel. Mr. Anderson and Taz, these guys have spent a lot of time in a heel role. They're both pretty good on the mic. The problem with Mr. Anderson, as Garvin has pointed out in the past, is that he has a habit of his promos sounding the same, basically the same thing over and over again with little variation. Taz is much different. He can deliver different kinds of promos, and from his spot as a commentator, like Garvin said, he can push the idea that Aces and Eights is a bigger deal than they are. He can really push them as heels the entire show.
Okay, excellent points. However,
and I better watch it. I better not go after Taz too quickly, because he's freaking bulletproof and he might sue me.
Teflon Taz. All right, guys, excellent points. You bring up really, really good arguments. However, the one stick I got to stick in your spokes is NWO. You did this already and it sucked. What's different
that's
now?
what worries me about this higher power crap.
It's getting so much more like this, so much more like it was, and that just went off the rails because, the kids got to run the daycare, and that was the mistake. So what's different now? Do you think they learned their lesson with that, or do you think this is more of a no? This time it'll be different. We're just going to do it exactly the same way.
Well, it's not directly involving guys who are in power backstage. I mean, they might be behind the masks, but, the thing that separates it from, an NWO type thing is Bischoff and Hogan are only rumored to be involved. Otherwise, they are it's only an on-air character. I don't think it's dipping into the backstage part. If it was, then they would be doing a lot better. They would actually win at pay-per-views and win solid matches, and thus far they haven't. Unless you want to consider Joseph Park a solid opponent, Rob.
Okay, you know what?
Hey, he took a shot at me for the shot in the arm remark, but I'm going to walk back and say it really hasn't been. Rob, what do you have to say to that, to the NWO thing? I mean, you're with Garvin on this one, saying that it's different because people are different?
The all of the talk about a higher power does kind of make me nervous. That's almost verbatim language that was used for the NWO.
Right.
As we've pointed out, Hogan is ex-NWO guy. Bischoff is an ex-NWO guy. There's a lot of former WCW type talent. It's just really, really bad. I mean, there are times where Aces and Eights almost seems like TNA has a good plan and like this might actually get an interesting storyline. And then it takes a turn and it looks kind of like the ECW, WCW invasion angle that WWE ran that was completely shit.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying, Rob. It's like there are a lot of dangerous ground that they keep skirting entirely too close to.
Come on, Rob. The WCW invasion wasn't all that bad. I mean, come on. Who better than Canyon?
Who better?
Anybody who still draws breath.
All right. So
and a whole bunch of people that don't draw breath.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for being willing to go to the area that I was not willing to dip into.
Oh, I'm a horrible person. What can I say?
So Nick wrote in basically right along this line, said, unless Bully Ray turns out to be affiliated with Aces and Eights or turns his back on TNA, etc. And some suggest Aces and Eights really doesn't have a guy with the clout to challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship. To that end, I think TNA will sign someone to put them in that spot, not necessarily to win the belt on arrival, just to be in the title picture. If you had to pick some guys, ex-WWE or ex-TNA or anything like that you can see filling that role for Aces and Eights to be their main event guy, or someone who's like, maybe if you can't think of anybody outside TNA, who would you turn in TNA to give them that spot? Garth?
Well, I just want to throw out, just one note. I mean, Anderson is in Aces and Eights now. He's a former world champion. I know why I don't like Anderson and don't, consider him a title contender, but I'm surprised no one else is. Like, why wouldn't Anderson be that top guy? Is everyone agreeing with me?
I was about ready to ask where the fuck has Anderson been? So,
well, it's not so much that he has been, but he hasn't really been in that title picture in a very long time.
But maybe that works to his advantage,
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, if you could just throw Jeff Hardy in there, you could pretty much surely throw Anderson in there.
Hey, Jeff Hardy's got an album. If Anderson releases an album, we could probably throw him in the World Heavyweight Championship.
Is that what it takes to get to the top in TNA?
Apparently,
you got to have an album?
You got to have an album. Well, to endear yourself to Rob, it sure is. Right, Rob?
To all FTW listeners, feel free to donate to the FTW podcast, and I will listen to that crap fest known as the Jeff Hardy album.
You can listen to it for free on Spotify, man.
Well, it's not free.
I'm too lazy to do that. I need $9.95. I will download the album, then I will listen. I am not going to actively.
Wait a minute. You're not going to get it for free? You're going to give Jeff Hardy money?
He still gets a cut.
That's kind of a good point.
He still gets a cut if you listen to it on Spotify.
But he gets a lot less.
Well, not as much as whatever.
I hate to think Joe might have a point. Nix the donations. I'll actually use my own free time so Jeff Hardy doesn't make as much money.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Quick correction: don't nix the donations. You can still donate.
Yeah. You can still. Yeah.
Fair enough.
We love your money. Keep it coming. Chad saying Anderson's album just consists of all the ways he said his name during his entrance. So it's like a Kid Rock album. He's just saying his name over and over and over again.
Yeah, all Kid Rock does is say Kid Rock, Forever, and what's the other one? And Cowboy.
And Cowboy. There you go. All right. So Rob, what about? I mean, do you think Anderson could fill that role, or do you got somebody else in mind?
Given the current layout of TNA right now, I would turn to Anderson. If I wanted to get really adventurous, I would throw Austin Aries in with Aces and Eights. He's got a beef with Hogan. He's the perfect guy for them to come and say, "Hey, look, Hogan threw you to us. You know, he threw you to the wolves, and what did he do? He didn't have your back. Run with us. We've got your back."
What about Knobs and Sags?
No.
Wow.
All right. So, all right, that's a fair point. Austin Aries would be interesting turn. I don't know if I really like it. I like Austin Aries kind of bucking the system and going on his own. I mean, I think that kind of works. I think it would ding him a little bit too. I don't want to say ding him, maybe slow him down too much, because then you'd wrap him up in that storyline as opposed to having to do his own.
Yeah, that's why I said really adventurous, because it's definitely a big risk scenario.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've gone on record, I'm never a big fan of these giant storylines, because what it does is it's like a vacuum. It just sucks up all these other little storylines these guys could be doing, and it just has to put it under the same umbrella of NWO, Aces and Eights, Invasion, whatever you want to call it, and it really kind of slows down the advancement of a lot of guys. All right. Well, AJ Styles? Do we really want to entertain that one?
No.
What else he got going?
He sucks as a heel, though.
Oh, yeah, he does.
AJ Styles.
Oh, come on. Bring back Tyson Tomko and you're good to go.
AJ Styles is god-awful as a heel.
Yeah, he's terrible as a heel.
Wasn't it Tyson Tomko?
That's really the only thing that has me nixing the idea of AJ Styles is he's really hard to believe as a heel.
Okay. All right, so we got some questions from you guys. Apparently Kid Cash was released. Anybody really care? I don't. Well, X Division kind of hurts without him, but obviously he wasn't really doing much. We also asked everyone if Velvet Sky was the future of the Knockouts, the series future of the Knockouts. Nick said, "I like to think so," but it seems weird that she's getting these title shots and basically doesn't really capitalize on them, and doesn't understand why Tara's the championship. I mean, Tara's still the champion. If TNA's not going to give it to Tara, or not going to have Velvet knock Tara off her pedestal, there's really a short list of names that you could use that haven't also held the belt, you know? The other idea is, maybe bring Taylor Hendricks up, get some good matches in, take the belt.
Why would you do that? She's terrible.
Taylor Hendricks?
Yeah.
Okay. Rob, I mean, do you think Taylor is bad, or do you think she might have something she could put together in TNA?
She's much better than Miss Testmacher was when Testmacher won the Knockouts title for the first time.
I wouldn't go that far.
I would.
That gut check match was terrible.
And how long ago was that gut check match?
Yeah, but how
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
But, all right. Yeah, I guess we could say that. Anyway.
I still think TNA should go get Alicia Fox to be better than Taylor Hendricks.
Anyway, point being, and Mick Brads also wrote it, my favorite #1 fan, said that he finds it funny that before Hogan came into TNA, you had, and this is actually a pretty startling statistic, you basically had 2 knockout feuds, plus 2 division feuds, 2 tag team feuds, as well as their main event feuds. And it could all fit in a 2-hour show, and they had an amazing roster. Now we don't even get half of that. So the question is, I mean, Velvet Sky, who I'm an immense fan of, sorry, every time never mind. Anyway, I'm not going to pull a show. Anyway, a huge fan of Velvet Sky. So does anybody else think she's the future of the Knockouts? I think she's someone you could build a division on with a few other people, but the future, though, Garvin.
We do agree that she's been awful since she came back, right? I mean, you guys are watching.
Well,
the
that's
same
because Taz will not let her let the pigeons loose. They're all jumbled up in there, and they're restricting her movement.
That is weird. Heel Taz does not mention the pigeons. Face Taz does. Heel Taz does not. These past few, since she's come back, she has been terrible. It's just my rose-colored glasses, I guess you could say. Rob, okay, so Velvet Sky. If not her, then who?
I think Velvet Sky I think you've got to go with Velvet Sky. I mean, TNA went through a series of long and very in-depth talks to get her back. They jumped through a lot of hoops to get her back. They were very excited about getting her back in TNA. So I think they have to give it to her sometime, but sometime has to be sooner rather than later, because every time you give her a title shot and she fails to cash in, you're hurting her credibility as a wrestler.
Okay.
Rob, let me ask you one question here. When Mickie James joined TNA, how bad do you think they hurt her credibility? Because they did the exact same thing. She had like 12 title shots and lost like 13 of them.
Well, she didn't have much credibility to begin with when she came into TNA, thanks to what WWE did to her.
Are you kidding me? She had a shit ton of credibility.
Yeah, I gotta disagree.
You might not have liked the storyline that she was in, but damn, she was still on top of her game.
Yeah.
In the ring.
Huge crowd pop when she first came on the stage.
Yeah. But at the same point in time, like I said, how she left and the term she left WWE by really kind of screwed up her character. It was the same thing for Tara. WWE fucked her over. Gail Kim, another person. WWE.
But those were all, their contracts ran out. It wasn't like...
Yes, but the point is, the way WWE runs women's wrestling, they had very little credibility when they left the company because of what WWE wanted. Gail Kim got injured during a fucking pillow fight.
Gail Kim also left the ring in a battle royal on her own without being eliminated and just walked to the back.
Because
that's
she
hurting
was
your own
told
credibility.
not to be in there long. She's a good worker. She
No,
said, screw this.
That's not a good
I have to
worker
leave
when
the
nobody
ring.
touches you when you eliminate yourself.
No, I'm sorry. That is not a good worker. If you want to do something like that, you take it up backstage. You don't do
You
that.
just run. I mean, go ahead and run into the back of somebody, then stumble backwards and fall over the top rope. That's fine. At least you got hit somehow to eliminate yourself, as opposed to, fuck it, I'm out.
All right, Garv, what do you got?
Well, first, we can't blame WWE for Gail Kim getting injured in the pillow fight. That's all on Gail. The second thing is...
Or whatever was in the pillow.
Yeah, the second thing is, at this point...
Double donger.
Consistently, Miss Tessmacher is better than Velvet Sky. Right now. Okay? So I would pick Tessmacher over Velvet Sky. But the name that I want to see pushed, and I think can be the future of TNA's Knockouts division, if they use her properly, is ODB.
Yes! Thank you, Garvin. Yes, I'm 100% behind that. I cannot think, especially with Tara being champion, a more anti-Tara than ODB right now. And she is electric. She is scary as hell, but she is electric.
It's part of the reason I don't want to push her.
Why not?
You never know what the hell she's gonna do.
Okay, that is true. Yes, she is kind of a wild card, but still.
Okay. No, that's all character. Everything. Come on.
Fine. Okay, fine. Fair point. But how much of ODB is truly character? We've said in the past that if there was a female wrestler that we would want to drink with, it would be ODB, because we know some shit's going down.
Between her and Karma.
Yeah, you're not going to sit around talking about... You're not going to be sitting there playing bridge. That's for sure. Rob, what do you think about that? ODB, real quick before we move on.
No. I don't know if I would make ODB the lead of the Knockouts division. I definitely have her play a big part in it. I would definitely have her play a big part, but the lead, no.
Okay, how about this one? Chat just threw it out there. I love it even more than Garvin's suggestion. ODB in Aces and Eights, then win the strap.
After they crippled her husband, she has no reason to join.
No. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. If ODB joins Aces and Eights, Eric Young is soon to follow. You will then destroy anything with the angle, because once you get Eric Young involved, unfortunately, any angle he gets into goes to shit.
It does get kind of goofy, but Eric Young isn't in TNA right now. He's never on camera.
Well, actually,
I like ODB being in Aces and Eights. I think she's got the look already. Just throw a cut on her and have her talking about her old lady or whatever. I think it'd be awesome. I love it. Chat, I love that idea.
There is an angle you could do to get Eric Young involved in Aces and Eights that would be believable. You have him pissed off at having to be a joke at TNA, not using him properly. He could team up with ODB and get into Aces and Eights, but now we're getting into way abstract territory.
ODB orchestrated the hit to get out of her marriage. Wow. See, this is writing itself right here. This is awesome. And Eric Young with credibility. Yeah, because Eric Young, he is talented. I mean, he can do it.
He's very talented.
Yeah, usually the guys who can play those goofy characters are some of the best workers in the ring, just because they have to be able to do the job and then make it look humorous at the same time. All right. So, moving on. TNA is taping 4 weeks worth of Impact in the UK, and there are a lot of these events. A lot of these events are getting spoiled. On top of that, these special events, pay-per-views, not the big 4 that we have coming up. These are all being taped months in advance. Do you think that TNA is actually being hurt by this? We're going to do this real quick, and then we're going to move on. Rob, what do you think?
No. Spoilers happen all the time. Doesn't really help, or it doesn't really hurt the company. Most people will tune in anyways just to see exactly how things play down, if the spoilers are right, because, sometimes you read spoilers and, hey, it turns out they missed something.
Okay. Kev, do you have an opinion on this one?
I mean, going live is always best, but TNA hasn't done, TNA has always taped their shows, and people are still watching. So I don't think it hurts them too much. Would it be better live? Sure, but it is what it is, and I don't think it's going to be all that bad, except that Jeff Hardy doesn't have his visa, which should make more viewers tune in. So
yeah, 4 weeks with no Jeff Hardy.
Yes,
it's fun to watch TNA, man.
It's like a TNA miracle.
Christmas came late this year. All right, Garth.
Well, don't forget that they could still do the backstage "I'm talking to myself" promos from Hardy.
Don't ruin our hope.
Garvin, why are you spoiling our dreams? Come on.
Come on, Garvin. That doesn't score any points, so he's not even going to do that. He's not going to score me anything in the FTW draft. We'll just air a previously recorded match. Yeah, that would work.
Oh, that'd be awful.
Yeah, as far as
crowd looks completely different.
As far as if it hurts TNA, I think it could. I mean, TNA overall has got a bigger backing, at least on Twitter. We've seen it on Facebook, people talking to us, and even on YouTube. I mean, so it's. I think it could hurt because it could deter some of the viewing. I mean, like a lot of these new viewers were coming in after the live period, so it could hurt. I hope it doesn't, though.
See, the thing is, I don't think it's going to hurt them. I think it's just going to slow down any momentum that they might be building in the beginning of the year, which I do want to say, chat brought up a really good point. This was easy to say the worst impact so far in 2013, and yeah, this was the worst impact so far. Granted, we've only had 3, but it was still terrible. This is going to, any momentum that they really could have had or build to kind of lead off really strong in the beginning of the year, I think that's going to hurt them a little bit, being taped so far in advance. I mean, if it was time shifted, that'd be different, or if, it was taped, but it was taped earlier that day, and then it was released, because they can't give up the time slot, and there's no way they're not going to do a show at 3 a.m. in Wembley. I mean, that's not going to happen. So if it had to be time shifted, like the Olympics, it's not the worst thing in the world, but taped this far in advance, I don't know. I don't know about that, especially with the special pay-per-views. I really would love to see those live. I think those would be a much better draw live. All right. So that was your TNA Week in Review. And now it's time for Ask FTW. You ask, we answer. You can send us topics to talk about via email to questions@ftwpodcast.com. On Twitter by DMing us at FTWPodcast using the hashtag AskFTW. You can also post on our Facebook wall in our G Plus community. You can leave a comment on the site. There's a million different ways to do it. You have no excuse not to be heard. First up on the docket is Nick on Facebook said, who would you believe to be the man to take the belt away from Hardy? Rob.
I'm going to go with Austin Aries.
Any particular reason why, or you think he's just the biggest name?
You need a heel. So that really brings it down to Austin Aries or Bobby Roode. And I think TNA is favoring Austin Aries just a little bit more at this point.
Okay. Kevin?
Yeah, I tend to agree. Austin Aries makes sense. Roode had it for so long. Do you really want to give it back to him at this point? I'll take anybody but Hardy, but I will always take anybody but Hardy. I still think Anderson makes a lot of sense. He made a great heel. It's the anti-hero role. I think Anderson makes a lot of sense, but I think in the end, at least at this point, yeah, they'll probably go with Austin Aries.
All right. Joe, what do you think?
I think they're going to go with Daniels. I like the idea of Daniels, and really, he's been with the company for how long? It's about time.
Right.
Excellent.
Call too.
Garvin, you want to weigh in?
Yeah, I still think it's months and months and months away, but Bully Ray.
Ooh, good one too.
I still gotta like Daniels. I like Daniels a lot. I think, you know what, let's roll the dice and see what he can do with that slot and see what he can make with it.
He deserves it, that's for sure.
Yeah, so is Bully Ray, though. Bully Ray's been on a tear.
Yeah, no argument there either.
I mean, I see Bully Ray pulling it off of Daniels.
Yeah, that could work. I mean, keep in mind, I'm not saying Daniels is going to hold it for months. I'm just saying, give him the belt, see what he can do with maybe, a pay-per-view cycle is now 3 months, but if you see what he can do with like 6 or 7 weeks with the crowd, and if you can get him behind him. I was
going to say, I would love to see Daniels beat Hardy and then make his own version of the title with some Crayola crayons and some construction paper.
Looks like something a prison inmate would make. Chad's saying either Styles or Hulk Hogan brother. And we talked about this before. Chad's agreeing with us. But yeah, Hulk Hogan, I know there's a lot of hate on the idea of Hulk Hogan. I just want to say this one more time. If he does do it, I really don't think he's cynical enough to say, I'm doing it for me. I think he would do it because he thinks it's the best thing for the company. Bischoff would do it for himself. But I really believe if Hogan does it, he genuinely believes that it's the best thing for the company.
Yeah, he also believes rubbing his daughter's inner thigh isn't a bad thing. And it's not to anybody who's not her father.
Joe, these are mutually exclusive. Creepy as that is, they're mutually. Or when he flashes his dick.
I'm just saying, hey, he's crazy enough to think that one is a good idea. He probably thinks the other one's a good idea, too.
Yeah, that's a fair point. All right. Chris on Facebook basically said that Brian Cage deserves a roster spot. Do you agree? If you remember, this is Brian Cage was the other guy in the last gut check round where the crowd just absolutely universally hated him. Well, at least hated him like a heel, but he still did a pretty good match. Rob, do you think that he deserves a roster spot?
I wouldn't give him a roster spot in TNA, but I would definitely consider signing him and sending him to OVW.
So basically what every gut check has been so far this same time.
Pretty much, yeah. With the exception of like Christian York and Joey Ryan.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's fair. Kevin? Uh-oh. I think Kevin's half in the bag already. Garv?
Well, the thing is I think overall they made the right decision pushing Bradley. I know it's being said in the live chat, the crowd hated Bradley, they cheered Cage, but I think that's one and the same.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
I think that's one and the same.
But after Bradley was picked, the crowd got behind and cheered Bradley too. So both of them got cheers.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had them mixed up. My bad. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Anyway, go on, Garv.
Thanks, Rob, for interrupting. But yeah, overall.
Sorry.
Well, I interrupted too.
I'm used to.
See, I did it again. Where's my sarcastic apology? Where's my passive aggressive attack?
Michael McGillicuddy.
He's just ignoring you. That's what it is.
I'm just gonna pout. I'm just gonna sit here and pout until you snipe at me like you did Rob.
All right, Harrison's a cock. So here's the deal. Overall, I think it was more or less the crowd was booing Bradley. It wasn't that they were cheering Cage. It's just that Bradley was so awesomely connected with the crowd that they wanted to boo him and cheer. I don't think it even mattered who they were cheering because Cage just looked awful. Honestly, he did. He might be great in the indies. He might be a guy that you might want to put in OVW eventually, but overall, in that match, that's all we have to judge by. Bradley was the better guy, and I don't want to see Cage again.
Okay, I do want to make a mistake. I thought it was Cage that had the crowd healed behind him and not Bradley. It's just the names I had mixed up. I don't know. I mean, yeah, maybe kick him to OVW. I mean, the crowd was behind that match, and Cage did a good job of playing the face character and really got the crowd to hate Bradley. I would say that would be more Bradley than really Cage, but still. I don't know. Maybe kick him to OVW, see what he does. Just put him in OVW as a developmental contract. I mean, I don't see why you have to throw away someone like that just because you had to pick one or the other. I wouldn't make it public. I wouldn't be like, hey, we're going to sign, Brian Cage to the contract. Just, quietly slip him a contract under the hotel door and see if he shows up the next day. I don't know. That's how I imagine this works. Robert, in an email, said, recently with adding Kenny King and Austin Aries from Ring of Honor and previous Ring of Honor alums like Samoa Joe and AJ Styles, what do you guys think about adding people like Davey Richards, Adam Cole to the X Division? Basically, what he wants to know is, do we have anybody from Ring of Honor in mind that we could possibly put up in the TNA? I'm going to go right off the bat and say, I have no idea. I watched Ring of Honor for like 3 weeks, and that show was just boring as hell. So, Davey Richards sounds good, though. So I'm just going to not answer this one. Rob, do you have any names? Does anybody have any names in mind that we can really do here? Joe, you got one?
Charlie Haas.
Charlie Haas. Okay, cool. Garvin?
I do like that name. The other name that I would go with is the reigning ROH champion, Kevin Steen. He's over, so I think that would be a perfect fit.
Steen. Okay. Rob, you got any names?
No, not really. Garvin and Joe mentioned some good ones.
Michael Elgin. That's the other one I was thinking of.
You could maybe
hipsters, all of you.
No. The guy I was thinking of wouldn't work. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Kevin, you got any names or no?
Yeah, I've never watched Ring of Honor. The only one that David Richards I've heard does amazing things in the ring. Sure.
Yeah, he's phenomenal in the ring. He's basically a walking YouTube clip. Ian on Facebook wrote in and said, why are they holding back James Storm from the TNA World Heavyweight Championship? Rob, what do you got?
I have no idea other than that TNA at times does things that are really, really smart, and at times they do things that are really, really dumb. They had to get Jeff Hardy's record contract in, so they did something really, really dumb and screwed over James Storm.
Okay. Joe, what do you think?
Probably it's just his damn luck.
Yeah. Nice. Thank you, Joe.
No, they must see something that's not ready to be pulled yet. That's all I that's all I can figure. There's something about him that's just not ready.
Garv, you gotta log that one for the highlight reel. Kevin, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm kind of with Joe. There has to be some sort of, just general reason. Maybe they want to distance the tag team. I mean, Bret Hart went on to great things. Neidhart did nothing. I mean, I don't think we're going to see the same thing here because of James Storm has a lot of talent, but maybe they just want to distance those two for a little while and then build up for that epic feud that we all want to happen. And I don't know, just a thought. So
I'm with you. I don't know. I'm kind of with Joe as well. I don't know. I think he has like Samoa Joe syndrome. He's like his own worst enemy backstage, maybe. That's the only thing I can think of. Other than that, from what you can see on camera, there's no reason why. He's quality on the mic, quality in the ring. Crowd loves him. Maybe this is his year. Maybe this is gonna be the year of James Storm. Who knows? But maybe the other thing is, he's always being overshadowed by someone else. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. Robert,
that was going to be my question to Joe and Kevin and everything. What do you think would be holding him back? Because, like Harrison pointed out, when you look at him on camera, there's nothing glaringly obvious that says this guy shouldn't be world champion.
Good, I agree. I don't have anything. I personally don't. I think he's great. I'm just saying, I'm trying to look at it from TNA's perspective and look for reasons that maybe he hasn't gotten there.
It could be aspects of his on-screen persona. It could be maybe he's not doing well at house shows, as far as maybe he's botching moves.
Could be him. Maybe he just doesn't want to do it.
Maybe he's drinking too much, and they think it's a little unsafe sometimes. I don't know. I mean, nothing can be worse than Hardy versus Sting. But
Vicodin versus Vicodin.
The fact that actually you make a good point there, Joe, because thanks to Hardy versus Sting, TNA really has to worry about that kind of thing.
Yeah. Chet saying, yeah, I don't think it's Samoa Joe syndrome. Are we really calling it that now? That's not.
Apparently, we are.
Way to coin that, Harrison.
It rolls off the tongue very well, so why not?
We coined the worst stuff on here. Anyway,
Syndrome Joe.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, sorry, Samoa Joe. I mean, I'm really that of all the things to really have your name put at. I mean, it's like Lou Gehrig's disease. It's just.
Yeah, that one was a little unavoidable, though, wasn't it?
Hashtag Samoa Joe syndrome.
It quite literally had his name on it. Yeah, so now it's a hashtag Samoa Joe syndrome.
It's a long hashtag, though.
Well, we can't call it SJ syndrome. No one's gonna know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, saying yeah, I don't think it's Samoa Joe syndrome. Dixie and other TNA people say great things about Joe on Twitter and other social media. Storm probably just doesn't push himself forward backstage. That's it too. There is just as much politics backstage as there is in front of the camera. So who knows? Maybe he just doesn't play the game very well. It's a million different reasons, but on camera there is no reason why. Is ultimately what we're getting at. So it is now time for Win Fail.
Women wrestlers aren't getting paid? Why do you do a job?
Here is your win.
You do any job,
and fail
is to fucking get paid!
of the week.
All right, it's time for Win Fail. Your wins of the week. Go, Rob.
My win of the week is going to be... Shit, I don't know.
Garvin, you got a win.
Yeah, my win of the week is the partnership of Kenny King and Zema Ion on Impact. I thought that was great. I just love the idea of possibly Kenny King, Zema Ion versus Bobby Roode and Austin Aries for the tag team championships.
That would be an epic matchup.
Yes. That would be spectacular, yeah. Fails of the week, besides me on this show. Your fail of the week? Go, Rob.
Teflon Taz. Need I say more?
And for good reason.
Okay. Garvin, your fail of the week.
My fail of the week is the IWC in general. It appears no one was happy with anything in wrestling this week. Anything.
Anything?
I have not seen Twitter or Facebook this angry about what WWE and TNA has done in a long time. It's as if this was like the worst week in wrestling ever.
All right, so that is it. That is the show. Make sure to check out theftwpodcast.com for more information about us and how to get involved in the future. Our new and improved site has links to our iTunes page, so you can go there and rate us higher than any podcast, wrestling or otherwise. Stuff you should know, we're coming for you. And there's other ways you can support us. All the links and everything are listed right there. We appreciate any help that you can give us, obviously. Thank you, everyone in the live chat, even though I forgot about you a couple times. I deeply apologize. You guys are money each and every week. We record every FTW podcast episode on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, 1 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time at FTW Live. See you next Tuesday.
See ya.
Later.